and in some cases, absolutely furious. It wasn't just another segment or a typical scripted confrontation. It was Brock Lesnar stepping back into WWE and instantly reasserting himself as the biggest threat in the company. The way this played out wasn't simply about one man returning. It was about shaking the very foundation of the main event scene and exposing cracks in how WWE has been presenting its so-called top star, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, the manufactured era. For years now, Roman Reigns has been portrayed as the tribal chief, the face of WWE, and the unquestioned head of the table. Championship reigns, pay-per-view main events, and endless hype have made him the centerpiece of the product. But many fans have questioned whether this reign of dominance has been authentic or artificially inflated. Roman has benefited from carefully controlled storylines, creative protection, and an endless push that sometimes feels more corporate than organic. The return of Brock Lesnar shined a bright light on this reality, reminding everyone that true dominance cannot be manufactured. The return of the beast. When Brock Lesnar's music hit, the reaction wasn't the usual eruption of cheers or boos. It was stunned silence, the type of silence that tells you the audience knows something serious is about to happen. With his trademark smirk and predatory stare, Lesnar didn't need words. Every step he took toward the ring carried more weight than any promo. His return wasn't about spectacle. It was about presence, about a man who commands respect without needing elaborate entrances or family entourages. Roman's body language told the story. Roman Reigns has built his character on confidence, intimidation, and dominance. Yet in that one moment, his demeanor shifted. Shoulders tensed, breathing quickened, and the aura of invincibility cracked. For the first time in a long while, Roman looked uneasy. He wasn't facing an underdog challenger or a scripted storyline rival. He was staring at a competitor with real-world accomplishments, a man who's conquered NCAA wrestling, UFC heavyweights, and WWE legends. The change in body language told fans more than any words could. WWE commentaries surprised reactions. One of the most frustrating aspects of this confrontation was how the WWE commentary team reacted. Michael Cole, Wade Barrett, and company acted as though Brock's return was some shocking, unimaginable development. But longtime fans know the truth. Lesnar has been the measuring stick of credibility for over 2 decades. Pretending to be surprised only highlighted how out-of-touch commentary has become. Instead of acknowledging the history and legitimacy that Brock brings, the broadcast fell back on cliché lines that undermined the gravity of the moment. Calculated timing. Brock Lesnar didn't just randomly walk back into WWE. The timing was meticulous. He returned at the exact moment Roman was most comfortable, at the top of his game, surrounded by his bloodline, and basking in his role as the dominant figure in the company. That's when Brock struck, not physically, but psychologically. It was a calculated move to remind Roman and everyone watching that dominance is temporary when the beast decides to reclaim his territory. This wasn't chance. It was strategy. A silent warning. What made the confrontation chilling was what Lesnar didn't say. No microphone in hand, no rehearsed promo, no Paul Heyman introducing him with a dramatic monologue. Instead, Brock relied on pure presence. His silence was louder than any scripted line. It was a primal warning, a reminder that real predators don't roar for attention. They simply arrive, and the room changes. That silence sent shockwaves not just through Roman, but through the entire locker room. Paul Heyman's divided legacy. Speaking of Heyman, the confrontation also reignited questions about his role in this saga. For years, Heyman was the mouthpiece and strategist behind Brock Lesnar's dominance, painting him as an unstoppable force. To then pivot and build Roman as his new special counsel raised questions of loyalty and authenticity. Watching Lesnar return served as a stark reminder that Heyman once represented something much more primal and intimidating. The contrast between Heyman's work with Roman and his history with Brock could not have been clearer. Creative's long-term problem. What this entire confrontation exposed is WWE Creative's long-standing issue with overprotecting chosen stars. Roman has been shielded with storylines designed to keep him dominant. Opponents are often made to look strong only briefly before being dispatched, reinforcing the company's preferred narrative. But when Lesnar returned, all of that protection unraveled in seconds. No amount of creative writing could mask the reality that Brock Lesnar's legitimacy towers over manufactured dominance. This wasn't just a storyline problem. It was a credibility problem. Levels to this game. The truth is simple. There are levels in professional wrestling. Some performers thrive on entertainment value, character work, and scripted drama. Others, like Brock Lesnar, bring an aura that can't be written into existence. His background in amateur wrestling and mixed martial arts elevates him into a different category entirely. Fans understand this instinctively, which is why the confrontation resonated so deeply. It wasn't about who had the flashier storyline. It was about who felt more real, more dangerous, and more believable. Roman's confidence shattered. For over 2 years, Roman has walked into arenas projecting untouchable confidence. But against Brock, that facade cracked. The look in his eyes betrayed concern. The swagger disappeared, and suddenly, the tribal chief seemed human. Fans noticed. The silence in the crowd wasn't indifference. It was recognition. Everyone in the building knew they were witnessing a shift in power dynamics, and it showed on Roman's face. For a character built on intimidation, that moment of vulnerability was telling. Respect versus storylines. What makes this feud compelling is that it transcends titles or scripted rivalries. This is about respect. Lesnar represents authenticity, someone who has earned his place through sheer dominance across multiple sports. Roman, for all his success, represents a storyline creation, a product of creative vision more than competitive legitimacy. The clash between these two isn't just about who holds the championship. It's about who truly commands respect when the lights are brightest. The real hierarchy of WWE. The reaction to Brock's return was a collective acknowledgement of WWE's true hierarchy. Despite years of storytelling, fans instinctively know that Lesnar exists on a level above most of the roster. His presence reshapes narratives and forces creative to adjust. Roman may be the corporate face, but Brock is the reality check. And when those two forces collide, fans pay attention because it feels bigger than a scripted angle. It feels like a genuine test of dominance. The masterclass of psychological warfare. Perhaps the most underrated element of Lesnar's return was how effectively it showcased psychological warfare. He didn't need to lay a hand on Roman. The tension, the silence, and the body language told the story. Roman's nervous reactions amplified Brock's calm menace. It was a lesson in how less is often more. By doing almost nothing, Brock managed to deliver one of the most impactful moments of the year, proving that intimidation doesn't require theatrics. What happens next? This confrontation sets the stage for one of the most intriguing showdowns in recent memory. It isn't just another match on the calendar. It's a collision of two philosophies. Roman represents WWE's vision of storytelling dominance, while Brock represents authentic intimidation and competitive legitimacy. The build-up to their next encounter will determine whether WWE leans into this reality or continues trying to push a narrative that fans are increasingly questioning. Why fans should care for fans who crave authenticity in wrestling? This feud matters. It highlights the difference between manufactured dominance and earned legitimacy. It reminds viewers that the best moments in wrestling are often unscripted reactions, genuine tension, and real history between performers. Roman versus Brock isn't just another chapter in WWE's ongoing saga. It's a confrontation that forces the audience to ask tough questions about who truly deserves the top spot in the industry. The reckoning ahead, Roman Reigns may still hold the championship, may still walk into arenas with his family by his side, and may still receive the full support of WWE's creative machine. But none of that guarantees survival when facing Brock Lesnar. The Beast doesn't operate within the confines of storyline protection. He brings an unpredictability that no amount of corporate backing can neutralize. The reckoning is coming, and Roman's ability to withstand it will define not just his reign, but his legacy. Conclusion: the Beast is back. At the end of the day, what we saw on SmackDown wasn't just a return, it was a warning. Brock Lesnar reminded the world that his presence alone can reshape the entire WWE landscape. Roman Reigns may have enjoyed years of dominance, but all of that is now under threat. The Beast is back, and his message was clear. There's only one true final boss in WWE. Roman may claim to be the tribal chief, but when Brock Lesnar is standing across from you, all titles, storylines, and family allegiances fade into the background. What's left is reality, and in that reality, the Beast always reigns supreme.